Alright, so today I'm back with yet another chapter review, and today we will go over chapter 310, which was really cool as Igarashi and Nagi meet up, and they discuss their football careers before they kind of get into a bit of a fight. However, it helps Nagi realize something insanely important, but you will just have to sit back and watch to find out what happens. Anyway, please leave a like and a comment as well as join the Discord server and subscribe to my other channels down in the description. And with that out of the way, let's get into it. So to begin chapter 310, also called Just Quit Already, we start with the text saying, Igarashi appeared when Nagi didn't know which path to take. What will the two who were rejected by Blue Lock talk about? After that, we see Igarashi and Nagi going into the city. Igarashi tells Nagi that he looked him up at school but couldn't find him. He even says that he even got treated like a total creep. Anyway, Igarashi then explains that after that he asked one of Nagi's classmates, and they told him that he would probably be in that game center, which is why he went there, telling Nagi with a smile that he seriously looked all over for him. Nagi just looks at him, kind unbothered, and doesn't really say anything, before he then gets a smug expression and tells Igarashi that he is now a creep. Igarashi gets annoyed and screams at Nagi that it's not like that, and that he just came to see him. They then get to a nearby park, and Nagi sits down and asks Igarashi what it truly is that he wants to talk with Nagi about, and calls him Mr. Stalker. Igarashi then goes right into it, as he asks Nagi what he will do about soccer. Nagi thinks for a bit before saying that he still hasn't decided yet. Igarashi says that it was just like how he thought, and that he guessed that Nagi would say that. Nagi asks Igarashi what's up with this know-it-all attitude, but Igarashi tells him that he doesn't understand it all, which is why he came here to tell Nagi this. He sits down on some panda toy and tells Nagi to keep on playing soccer. Nagi asks if Igarashi has the same opinion as Usagi. However, Igarashi tells him that he is wrong, telling him that it's just his selfish ego from when they were eliminated together back there, asking Nagi about the moment when his final bid was revealed and his loss was set in stone, and asking Nagi what he truly felt in that moment. Nagi just says that he didn't think much, just that he kind of already had figured that much out, and that it makes sense. It then gets dark around Igarashi, as he tells Nagi that he firstly felt frustrated, but also happy, which really shocks Nagi. Igarashi then goes deeper into it, and says that it's because he went to Blue Lock to go pro in soccer, so any bid on him would make him not have to inherit his family's temple, which made his dream a reality, further explaining that if he were to borrow some words from Ego, then it must be that he was fulfilled by that. Looking back to Nagi and asking him if he also was fulfilled, Nagi, however, just tells him that some things you just have to walk away from, even if they leave you unfulfilled. However, Igarashi disagrees and tells him, like hell there is, and that there's no such thing as a limit to a dream. And it looks like it started to make Nagi's brain tick as he said that. Igarashi then continues to cook as he says that all there is to a dream is just about how big one's vessel is. The dream he had of going pro, to Igarashi, it was something so big he was willing to stake his whole life on it. But in the end, it was too small to fit the vessel it takes to become the best in the world. So he walked out of Blue Lock fulfilled, but Nagi, on the other hand, is totally different, as he isn't fulfilled at all. Igarashi then looks super pumped up as he tells Nagi to stop sulking and tells him that there's no such thing as a dream you can't have in this world. Igarashi then laughs to himself, saying that he nailed his speech and that he came here just to tell Nagi that. After that, Nagi says his name and tells him about the Buratsuta deal. Igarashi is completely mind-blown by this. However, Nagi says that it doesn't make sense at all. Igarashi gets on the swings angrily while saying that Buratsuta is a scumbag and wondering why Buratsuta didn't come to Igarashi with the offer. Nagi then looks sad towards the ground and tells Igarashi that in the end he turned down the offer, which leaves Igarashi in total awe as he asks him why. Hey, it's Natsu mid-editing here, and I just wanted to pause the video to ask you to subscribe if you haven't already, and while you're already down there, why not leave a like as well? Nagi explains that he has no intention to crush Blue Lock, and at the same time, he can't betray Blue Lock. Igarashi looks in shock before asking Nagi if that's his only reason, and Nagi says that it is, and that it's really all that it comes down to. Igarashi then looks at him with an annoyed but frustrated expression as he tells him that he's the one who's betrayed Blue Lock more than anyone in the world. Nagi is just caught off guard by this and doesn't understand what Igarashi means. However, Igarashi tells Nagi to think about it and that he lost because he made that final pass at the very end, telling him that what he did went completely against the whole idea of being the best striker in the world. Igarashi then starts looking mad as he tells Nagi that he's seriously saying now that he can't betray them while he has already done that, and he tells Nagi that the more he talks, the more pissed he gets at Nagi. Nagi just scratches his head and asks Igarashi what he would think if he became obedient to Buratsuta and returned to Blue Lock. Igarashi right away just answers by screaming pathetic. Nagi then wonders what both Ryo and Isagi will think about that. Igarashi then tells him that his thoughts now are super pathetic and asks how someone like Nagi has the nerve to come back. It then gets dark around Nagi as he agrees, but Igarashi tells him that if his dreams are so weak that he would just give them up just because of what others think, then he should just quit already and that they're not going to come true anyway. Nagi then starts to get mad and asks Igarashi if he is trying to pick a fight with him, and Igarashi says that he's right about that. Igarashi then tells Nagi that his parents opposed his dreams, so when he joined Blue Lock, he left his home prepared for anything to come his way, and that if he were to lose, then he would work at the temple his whole life, or he could go pro in soccer, explaining that he put the risk and his dream on a scale. Igarashi then starts to scream as he says that humans can only be fully immersed if despair and hope are both equal on the scale, and that he's always believed that he entered flow to fight for his dreams, asking Nagi what's up with him on the other hand, and telling him that Nagi can't even say what he wants to seize, telling him that he is lost because he didn't even think about what would happen if he couldn't seize that dream. Igarashi then starts to wonder why the hell it's Nagi and not himself. He pulls Nagi by his t-shirt and tells him that if he had Nagi's talents, then even if he looked lame, and even if it hurt, he would still be aiming to become the #1 in the world. In that moment, both of them look at each other intensely, but after that, Igarashi puts Nagi down and apologizes, saying that he is now talking about meaningless hypotheticals and that his life is only his after all, and he apologizes once again for sticking his nose in. Nagi then picks up Igarashi's cap, which fell off towards the ground. Nagi puts the cap on Igarashi's head while thanking him for coming to see him and telling him that he will become a good monk. But Igarashi tells him that he's going to become a soccer player and not a monk. Nagi then starts to leave, and Igarashi realizes it and asks him where the hell he is going and that their talk isn't done yet. However, Nagi waves with his hand and tells Igarashi that he has heard enough. Igarashi is just wondering what he is going on about, but Nagi then tells him that meeting Igarashi has gotten him totally fired up, and we then see Nagi looking like a total beast with this insane aura around him as he looks ready to give it his all. We then also see that there are only 2 days left until the U20 World Cup, which is kind of insane. The ending text says, "An old friend lights up the ego within Nagi's heart. The reignited genius won't end here." And the next chapter will be called B-Side, which I had no idea about what it could mean. However, a lot of you speculated that it could be about Buratsuta's own selection and the players who win that. Now I'm going to be honest, I'm quite short on time. However, I need to speak on some things before leaving. Firstly, with the U20 World Cup only being 2 days away, it's super hype. However, I'm a bit sad that it doesn't seem like we will get to see the Blue Lockers training camp, as that would have been really interesting. However, I also understand why they decided to skip that. Firstly, it would be kind of annoying to have that now, as all of us are excited for the U20 World Cup. Not to mention that it's a lot better for the characters to show their newfound skills in the actual U20 World Cup, and not in some silly training against each other, as that will get us readers a lot more hyped. Also, when the leaks came out, I was still a bit unsure. However, this basically just confirms it that Nagi will join the Buratsuta 3 and will play in the U20 World Cup, which I mean is super hype. I'm just kind of afraid for him, as that contract sounded horrible for any further soccer plans Nagi will have. However, if Nagi is ready to risk it all on this deal, then who can really blame him? Also, this chapter really got me thinking differently about Igarashi. I know that I have always kind of trash-talked him. However, he was a goat in this chapter, and there is so much about what he said that I want to talk about, which is why I will make a dedicated video for Igarashi and this chapter, which is something I never thought that I would say, as I have always been kind of an Igarashi hater. But honestly, this chapter has swayed me so much, and Igarashi's character as a whole just got so much more depth, which I didn't think was possible. But Igarashi really became someone I would say that I really like now. Yes, I know the switch up is crazy, but bear with me. Anyway, please let me know what you thought about this chapter, and what you think will happen in the next one. Anyway, if you like Blue Lock and videos like this, then I would highly suggest you subscribe to this channel, and while you are at it, leave a comment and a like, as it helps out with the algorithm a ton. And if you are curious to see another video of mine, then please watch the video that will be popping up on the screen now. Anyway, thanks for watching, and have a great day. Bye.